Hello and welcome, I am Kingsley Cree from MLPlay.com, and this is Under Control. Everything is under control. It is a browser-based RTS, RTS Lite, I'd say, with a very heavy combat. I don't know if it's Middle East, but it has that kind of deserty combat look. And it's like the army, the regular army against the local bad guys or whatever. And you may be thinking, why don't you zoom this video in? What's with all this black space around the edges? And that is actually how it looks. So my browser right now is in full screen there. And this is my recording of it. I think that's pretty silly. I don't know why there's so much black space around the edges. Like, I'm squinting, just trying to see what's going on. Oh, okay, there's some movement there, I guess. And the whole environment just blends into each other. I understand that maybe that's a result of the theming, and you can't do a whole lot about that. And then you got, your military guys are not gonna be wearing flashy pink, yellow, and green gear. They're gonna match the populace, not populace, but the environment to blend in and everything. And now that all makes sense, but it doesn't make for a very interesting visual experience. And most of the game, I shouldn't say most of the game, most of the early levels that I played look pretty much the same. So, as browser-based games go, you're going to have the rewards and the little, knickknacks every once in a while. Like, oh, play our game, keep playing, here's some dopamine in your brain. This part's pretty cool. So it's a base building kind of thing. Except you don't really build any bases. It's just more of like, it's just a base that's there. And sometimes you build stuff, which is more accurate. We've actually been seeing a bit of a resurgence of these. Okay, so there it is. It kind of zooms out a little bit, I guess. And it's not immediately obvious how you're supposed to go up at these levels. What I've been doing is I've been sending out my guys, my gunners, my infantry, and I've been sending them to these points. And they intercept any enemies along the way. And then I imagine they follow, the programming which says go to the next point and then go to this point and then go to this point. So far it just seems like they're just training you to use your units. And I think this was about 10 minutes in after you start. It's pretty interesting to see a browser game make you go full, or they didn't make me go full screen. They asked me to, and I did, of course. But that's pretty interesting. Not a whole lot of browser games seem to do that, really. They just have you download something, and then that's got 10 toolbars on it. So this is cool. It's nice. It's a pretty fluid, easy to get into RTS experience. I'm assuming it's on the go. I don't recall ever seeing like a login or anything like that, so I'm not sure how that works, but it's pretty neat. Which is surprising, because I usually don't like these kind of games. Even though, like, I think I looked at the clock and I was like, oh man, I'm only 5 minutes in. Are you crazy? It feels like it's been hours. Games like these are very slow to kind of pick up the pace. So this screen, of course, you've got upgrades for each of your units. There's unlocked units there at the bottom who are no doubt just as good or better than the units you currently have. And it all looks pretty good, I guess. The portraits are good. Like, look at that pig. He has a tactical knife in his freaking mouth. How great is that? And I forget what that was from. So, it has, like, the prices, like, daily. I don't know if it has a daily login, but it has those kind of UI elements where you click it and it gives you a, reward. Some things you can only buy with gold, and gold is you buy it with money. The rest of it is with cash, and cash is what you get from completing missions and the like. And that's pretty much all you're going to be doing. You're going to be going to mission, gathering cash, and getting better units. They're not doing anything crazy here. It's very simple, very straightforward. No doubt this is something you'd play on a mobile game on the go, or something you'd play on a mobile game. Something you would play on a mobile tablet or phone or whatever. There's nothing to... I mean, it looks like it was made for a mobile game, but it's on the browser. In hindsight, that doesn't make any sense. Of course, you'd be playing... Anyway. My first thought is that this is something that would be on the App Store. for free, and then it has advertisements or what are they calling it nowadays? Freemium? Where you watch a video and you get in-game items. There was a specific term for it. I'm pretty sure it started with advert or something. Advert gaming. Is it advert gaming? I think it's advert gaming. Man, I'm good at this. Yeah, advert gaming. That's what it is. Where you watch a video. I don't know if they have that, but they have similar things. So I guess I made a mistake here. I guess this is where it kind of goes to show you where placing your units tactically is actually going to matter. So I just sent all my guys and okay, everybody go to point A, and then everybody go to point B, and then everybody go to point C. Except point C has a sniper, right? If I had sent my guys from base to point C first, I would have lost less guys. And the snipers are pretty much a one-shot kill, I believe. So all the while I've got my whole front line going to A and B, the sniper over C is sniping my guys off. When I could be sending a unit over to A, I mean C, getting rid of the sniper guy as soon as possible. I guess it gets a lot more complicated later, and I'm pretty sure there's rock paper scissors thing going on, where like infantry is better than snipers. I don't know, and then tanks are better than infantry. There's probably air support, I guess. So in case I didn't say it before, in general this game does look pretty good, especially considering it's a browser game and it's free and all that. It's not too bad. Maybe that's just because they zoomed it so far out. So you don't have to look at the grungy textures or assets or whatever it is. And so this is kind of like, some of these things are these concepts or the space is kind of strange. Like you have like some miner guy or whatever who will gather cash over time, so I guess it's a way to get you to come back, which makes sense. You have the blimp with the pig on it that's selling you stuff, and then you have this construction dude, I guess that's to build stuff fast. I have no idea. And I'm clicking on this thing over here. It's like, convince immigrants to work for you or something. And I'm clicking on it like 50 times and nothing's happening, so I just move on, I think, to the next mission here pretty soon. But yeah, this whole base thing looks pretty good. Oh yeah, that's right. I go and upgrade my guy a bit. And I kind of check out this system. So all the main, those 4 power-ups I think are only gold. You have to buy it with gold. But otherwise, you can just go into this little sub-menu over here on the right and upgrade your power, and then it upgrades things like more grenades, I think. You get a Kevlar vest, you can heal yourself, things like that. It's all pretty standard. I'm interested in seeing just how much. The main thing I was interested in is just how much is the placement gonna matter. It may just be something like, oh, you won't be able to play as many games today because you didn't play as well. Which makes sense, which is fine. Because it seems like you gain unit placements outside of battle, which I thought was strange initially. So I'm guessing you have like a set number of units that you can place. Like, it's going to be later on in the game, you're going to have like 50 infantry units, but only like 2 tanks. You have to be careful about sending out a tank in a bad position because it's going to get killed immediately. Which makes sense. I'm just looking through all these cash shops and menus and everything. Of course, as you can probably guess, they're trying to sell you something. Which is fine. At least it's not super intrusive. Like, typically in these browser-based games, you'll have like 10,000 UI elements around the edges. This one has your main bar at the bottom, a bit of character info in the top left, and then, hey, buy our stuff in the top right, which is perfectly acceptable. This is one of the better browser-based games that I've played in a pretty long time. Like, so much so that I came into this immediately thinking, oh, this is going to be just complete garbage. Let's get this over with. Inform the masses about staying away from this game. But no, this is actually pretty good. And it doesn't rely on, like, what would you call it? It doesn't rely on the crutch of popular media. Like you'll like that awful, what was it? One Piece? No, it was the Dragon Ignale? Fairy Tail, that's what it was. It was like a copy and paste cardboard, MMORPG browser based with the Fairy Tail license on top of it. And at least this doesn't rely on it, on a license like that. It still relies on, this like, I hope I'm not racist or whatever and saying like Afghanistan-y kind of looking place. Deserts and stuff like that. Even though it is boring to look at least they kind of took their own thing. Like, and what else? What other options do they have, really? You can go for modern military combat, or you can go for, like, futuristic space, or you can go for some kind of old-timey kind of look. And all of those have been done to death. Or you could go for a cartoony look, but again, this has all been done to death. But that's not necessarily a bad thing to put out another one. It's just, what do they expect to gain when they make a game like this? Is the market really so ginormous that they can make their money back just on when they put out a relatively mediocre game like this? I don't know. Especially if it doesn't rely on a license. And what the licensing does is that it basically is a free advertisement for the license itself. And that's what pays the bills. Not like, hey, buy our stuff in game. But that, I'm sure that helps. But anyway, I think I'd give this game about a 7. I mean, it's perfectly average. Not great, not good, just average. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same thing all game. I quit pretty soon after this video was done. But if you like what you see, the base building mechanic is not great. The controls, if you're on the go, it's not terrible. They're certainly better, but it's not terrible. It works, and it's not super intrusive or anything. So that's it. 7 out of 10. I have been KeensCree from MMOplay.com. Thank you for watching.